My name is Ingo Gerken. I'm the Club Secretary of WA Radio Soarers, and we fly our models here on Sundays, and then sometimes on Fridays people come down also. We fly radio-controlled model aeroplanes, helicopters, basically anything that you can fly with a radio control. We're limited here to electric aeroplanes due to noise issues with glow motors and that sort of stuff. Yep, in front of you here now we've got a selection of medium-sized model aeroplanes that we can fly here at the field. As I said, all of them are battery powered. This aircraft here is a fun bat, basically gluing together sticks and core flute mounting an engine on it. That's one of the aircraft we use when we tie streamers on the back and try to cut up streamers of each other's aircraft. This model here with the yellow wing is called a Skyhawk, combination of a glider and a model that you can do quite a bit of aerobatics with. This model here is originally, it's called a Focus, and one of the club members bought the kit and then modified it to have two wings, so it's been turned into a biplane. That makes the aircraft more manoeuvrable. We fly on Sundays, usually Sunday morning. We usually start wrapping it up around about midday. If people want to come down and have a look, as I said, we fly most Sundays if the weather's good, and some of the guys come down on Fridays as well. This is Kevin. Kevin's the proud owner of all of these models here.
With all this little ensemble here, all that I can fit in my car for the day. Family holiday to England, and my uncle, who flies RC planes over there, took me along to his field. I sort of got the bug, and then talking to a neighbour who's a fellow member here, and he told me about flying here, so came down, had a look, bought an aeroplane, and now I've got 50 of them. Then my later planes, I've been buying these more composite planes with the Mustang and the P40 and a couple of jets that I've just sort of getting the hang of flying. I've got a few gliders, pretty much got it all covered of the different types, biplanes, warbirds, over the wing, Cessna type planes. So yeah, pretty much a full collection.
The first one is a Focke-Wulf 190. It's a model made out of foam. Cheap model that's come from China, which means quite often it's quite difficult to get to fly nicely. Kevin's managed to turn it into an aeroplane that's quite tame, but warbirds do have a reputation of being quite difficult to fly. The one behind it is a model built up of balsa wood and ply with some plastic parts on it. Typically those models tend to be a little bit lighter than the foam models, and because they're not cheap knocked together models, they do quite often fly a little better. Here we have one of today's experiments. It's called a Stinger 64, and as you can tell the nose is not terribly pleasing shape, so that had its first flight this morning which didn't end well. That's one of the things with flying model aeroplanes. I always say that if you want to learn to fly, you have to learn to crash. If you get too upset when you destroy or damage one of these models, it's not the hobby for you. So that one will be going home and getting a bit of treatment from Kevin to try and get it back to its original shape. P-51 Mustang, another famous World War II aeroplane. This one's also a balsa ply built-up model with some composite parts on it. Again, it's a model that, as it originally came, was a bit of a handful, but Kevin's managed to tame it quite nicely. Quite a nice flyer now. The real aeroplane would have had a much lower power to weight ratio. These are much, much lighter compared with the real ones, so they do have some similarities. Usually a lot of them you need to slightly increase the control surfaces in proportion to true scale. The club membership at the moment is in the mid-20. If it's bad weather, nobody will be here. If it's not so good, you might get half a dozen, and on a really good day like today, you might even get up to 20 occasionally.
Well, if they've got the interest, then we're happy to show them around the planes. The club's actually got some trainer planes that we can hook up with the double radios and give them their first experience at flying a plane. Yeah, just come along, give it a go, and you'll soon be hooked. And we'll see everybody at Yokine Reserve, 9 o'clock Sunday mornings.
Maybe we can teach you to fly these wonderful aeroplanes.